Welcome back, everyone. I'm Josh Ola, and this is Coach's Corner, Episode 7. And we are about to start Season 3 of our Rocket Lads tournament. In the past, in our episodes, we featured a lot of breakdown of things to do with rotation, how to play with teammates, how to make smart decisions. But with so many players from our Rocket Lads Season 2 ranking up and so many new ones joining us, we thought we'd change it up some. So this season, we're going to primarily focus now on mechanics, not on rotations, but not advanced crazy things that we might be thinking of, but basic mechanics. And so we're going to have a series of videos that are going to be coming out here on Coach's Corner that will deal with those basic things. And whether you're a newer player, a mid-ranked player around Platinum, where a lot of these mechanics should start coming into play, or even really surprising to myself, a lot of Diamond, even low champ level players aren't aware of these mechanics and aren't implementing in their game. So pay attention to these videos, practice these mechanics, and get better at the game. It'll help you to take home that crown at the end of Season 3. So get practicing, and I hope you enjoy the videos, and I hope everyone has a good Season 3 here at Rocket Lads. So you're starting to climb those ranks, getting better at the game. Well, maybe you're diamond, gold, platinum, whatever it may be. Do you find you're hitting a ceiling? That's where training comes in. Free play, custom training, whatever it may be, these things can help us to break that ceiling, to get better at the game. But what should I practice? Maybe I'll practice my double touches. No, maybe I'll work on my ceiling shots. Yeah, that's it. I'll work on my ceiling shots. Or, no, I gotta work on my ground to air dribbles. I should work on those. If that's what you think you need to work on, please just stop. Listen, if you don't know the basics first, then don't move on to advanced stuff. The basics are what will help you to rank up. So in these videos, we're going to look at things like half flips, how to double jump aerial or fast aerial, basic dribbling, and the list goes on. So pay attention, listen closely, and learn the basics. First up, we're going to be looking at the half flip. This basic mechanic is something that I believe you should start learning around Plat 1. Definitely incorporate this into your game. It's going to increase your speed. It's going to help you get out of tricky situations, get to that boost faster, rotate faster, and so much more. This is a huge asset to any Rocket League player's arsenal of mechanics. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do before we learn to half flip is make sure our controls are set up correctly, that we have everything we need. So hop into your main menu, go down to options, over to controls, view change bindings. And what we're looking for here is either air roll right or air roll left. And don't be confused as you go down through the list and you see air roll. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for air roll right or air roll left. And so for me, I have air roll right chosen. You may have arrow left, and that's okay too. And for me, I bound it to R1, since if I'm rolling right, I want it bound to the right-hand side of my controller. Just logically makes sense. So go ahead and bind that somewhere on your controller. You're going to need that in order to be able to half flip. We're not going to explain what it does right now, as we'll find out how it's needed and how it's used later in the video. First thing we need to do mechanically to be able to do a half flip is to be able to do a backflip, which I trust everybody knows how. The main thing is that we want our backflip to be clean. We don't want it to be pointing off to the sides at all. It should be a clean, straight backflip. We should be pointing where we started, basically, if we're doing a backflip correctly. So if you're landing crooked, try to clean that up. Make sure you're holding straight down on that controller so you're doing a straight backflip. Before we start looking at the next step in our half flip mechanic, I just wanted to point out to please ignore the controller overlay. I made a couple mistakes in some video editing, and now it's in all the videos, but it doesn't properly represent what I'm pressing on the controllers at the right time. I'll have that fixed going forward. I just didn't want to have to record all my footage, so please ignore that unless I tell you otherwise. I'll have some footage in here showing how I'm using the controller, and I'll direct you to it when the time comes. Our next step, now that we have performed a clean backflip, is that we're going to cancel our backflip. So after we've jumped, held down, and used our dodge to perform a backflip, we're going to immediately hold up on the joystick. This will cause us to stall out on our backflip. Take a look. Let's look at that again, but in slow motion this time. This is at 25% of the normal speed. We'll notice that when the car reaches about 180 degrees, us holding the up rather than continuing to hold down causes us to stall out that flip, which will point us in the right direction to perform our half flip. Let's take a quick look at how that looks on the controller. So take a look. You'll see in this clip, the first thing I'm doing is I'm holding down so I can perform that backflip. I press the X button once to jump and another time while holding down to perform the backflip. Then almost immediately, I hold up. This causes you to again cancel that flip, which points you in the opposite direction, which will prepare us for the next step in our half flip. After you've practiced those basic steps, I would incorporate moving into the process. So try just going into free play and backing up around the field and just practicing this first part of the half flip. Doing that backflip and then stalling it out while moving around the field. Once you have that under control, we'll move on to our next step. After we learn this next step in our half flip, we should be able to pull one off pretty efficiently in the game. So let's take a look at this last crucial step. For the last step in our half flip, we're going to be taking what we already know and simply adding air roll right or air roll left to the process. To start, let's go through exactly what we'll be doing step by step. Once again, we're going to be holding down on our left joystick. Then we're going to jump and jump again while holding down to perform a backflip. Immediately after our second jump is used, we're going to be holding up on our left joystick. This will cause us to stall our flip and now be pointing in the opposite direction. At this point, we want to hold our air roll right or air roll left button. That's going to cause us to do a barrel roll, which will flip our car over and it'll be landing on its wheels if we did it correctly. Let's take a look at this from another angle and we'll also break down the controls in more detail. Now we'll jump over to player view to get an angle of what we would see when we're performing this half flip. Pay attention to the controller overlay. And even though we're going to be running this clip at 10% speed of what it normally is, it still is going to go very fast, which just gives you an idea of how quick you need to be in putting these inputs in. So let's take a look at that now. So the first thing we're going to see is I'm going to hold down, and then immediately following that, I'm going to jump and immediately jump again to perform the backflip. And then immediately following that, we're going to hold up on the control pad on the joystick. And immediately following that, we're going to be holding the R1 button to perform the air roll. So let's take a look at that again. And we're going to try to say it even faster. So here we go. Hold down. Jump. Jump, hold up, hold R1 to air roll right, release air roll, and then release up. And there, you've done a half flip. So now that you have all the steps put together, you can do a half flip. So I recommend hopping into free play and incorporating some movement into it. And while I wouldn't say a half flip is a hard mechanical skill, it's pretty straightforward. Being able to do it takes some muscle memory. So put that time in, put that practice in, and that's all it's really going to take. I strongly recommend keeping the cam in ball cam mode because this will put you at some different angles with the ball as you're moving and half flipping around it. Sometimes they're going to be awkward, but this will help you to really get those half flips down pat. So practice it in ball cam at those weird, awkward angles. It'll be good for you, even though it may be seeming tricky at first when you're doing them. One thing you may notice that is happening as you're trying to perform a half flip is that you're never landing straight, pointing in the opposite direction. You're always crooked, pointing off to the left or to the right. And I've often found that the reason for this is I'm not quite holding up long enough. So try just holding that up to cancel that flip just a little bit longer. It'll help you to follow through and maintain that straight positioning. And also make sure you're really trying to hold straight up on that joystick. So let's take things up one more notch. If you really want to master that half flip, you're going to need to add boost to it. That way it's going to be as fast as possible. So this may seem awkward at first to put boost on mid half flip, but again it takes muscle memory and practice. It could also depend on where you have boost bound to on your control. I simply have mine boost to circle on my PlayStation 4 control, so it's right there, it's easy to hit. So pay attention to that. Take a look at the controller overlay. We're going to put this in slow-mo, jump down to 10% speed again, and break this down a little bit more. So we're already in motion in this video. We're going in reverse, and here's the process. We hold down, we jump, hold up, air roll, then boost. Then we slowly let go of holding up. We let go of air roll, and we continue to boost through the half flip. So adding the step in may take a bit of practice. It's a little bit awkward. I still mess this up. Sometimes I don't boost thoroughly through the play, or sometimes I let go of air roll instead of boost, or let go of boost instead of air roll, or I just keep holding both of them. So keep practicing and keep trying to incorporate it into your games. Practice makes perfect. There are so many ways to incorporate half flips into your gameplay to make it faster, to make it smoother, to make your rotations better. But we don't have time to go over all of them. So very quickly, we're going to cover 3 areas where half flips are a very good choice. First up is on a face-off. When we're on the diagonal, rather than turning around or backflipping back to that boost, we can half flip and we'll be back in the play in no time. Sometimes we're just caught backwards and we have to backflip at the ball. So rather than just backflip, we can half flip into it. That way we can try to follow up the play or at least support our teammate. And last, sometimes the play just doesn't turn out how we expect. So we can use a half flip to get out of there and get back into rotations as fast as possible. Here's the bottom line. Do you want fancy highlight clips or do you want to win? If you want to win, then master the basics. Learn things like half flips and perfect them. That will help you to keep climbing in those ranks, and all that really matters is getting the W. So keep practicing, keep working on that muscle memory. My hope is that these videos will help you each to do that. So thanks for watching. I'm Josh Ola, and stay tuned for more videos on how to master the basics. If you guys like this video, please remember to hit that like button and please subscribe to Serenity Gaming for more Mastering the Basics videos and all kinds of other gaming content. Thanks a lot.